Horadrim, we stand at the turning of a new chapter in mortal history. For thousands of years, mankind existed in the shadow of angels and demons. At best, humans were looked upon with cold indifference. At worst, they were seen as discordant notes in the symphony of creation, or weapons to sway the tide of the eternal conflict. That era is over. Mortals have emerged from a place of inconsequence to become the masters of their own destiny and stand as equals alongside even angels. As I think of these auspicious times, I am reminded of the price paid to bring humanity this far. Every mortal alive today is beholden to a legacy of great men and women that spans the breadths of history. The common thread woven between them is that greatest of mortals' traits, that fire of inspiration that first opened my eyes to the potential of humans so long ago, their capacity for sacrifice and selflessness. I speak of Ulducia and Uldiomed, the awakened Nephilim. I speak of Talrasha and the first Horadrim, of the elderly scholar Deckard Cain who carried their teachings and beliefs. I speak of those brave individuals who vanquished the prime evil in the high heavens, accomplishing a task that the angels themselves were unable to manage. You know of them. You have read of their deeds and of the hard choices they made in the war to spare the hearts of humankind from evil. There is, however, another person who deserves recognition. Someone who I fear that generations to come will misunderstand or even vilify. Her name was Leia. She was born to the witch Adria and the Dark Wanderer, a man whose body served as a vessel for Diablo, the Lord of Terror. From the moment of her birth, demon's essence lurked within Leia, an unseen watcher hidden in the shadowed corners of her soul. When the time came, her own mother betrayed her, allowing Diablo to take hold of the young woman and twist her body into the prime evil reborn. For some of you, this is everything you know of Leia. You may see her story as just another example of humankind's darker half and penchant for corruption. But when I think of Leia, I do not see the face of evil. I see the niece of Deckard Cain, a kind-hearted young woman who was the light of her uncle's life. I see a determined scholar hunched over stacks of ancient tombs, spending every waking hour searching for answers to forestall the coming of end of days. I see a friend, braving the legions of the burning hells, her hope and inspiration to everyone who fought by her side. Leia was never asked to take part in this struggle. The calling arrived unbidden, as it often does. Her uncle spent over 20 years of his life searching for a way to avert the end of days. When death took him, his vast arcana, housed in dozens of books, research scrolls, and other vital items were passed on to Leia, wrapped in the dying wish of a man who had been the only real family she had ever known. It falls to you now, dear one, to draw your own conclusions regarding these apocryphal texts, and to warn the world of the perils that draw nearer with every passing day. Those words, and the belief that humanity's future rested squarely on her shoulders, they haunted Leia like a spectre. She was not a scholar like Cain, nor was she a great mage like the first Horadrim. Nonetheless, she did not take the easy path and turn away from her calling. Instead, she devoted herself to it entirely. No matter how often she doubted herself, how dark or winding her path became, she never looked back. And she did all this with Diablo's essence stirring in her heart. Talrasha once said of mortals, "We cannot always change the future, but we can fight to guide it. In so doing, even if we fail, we will have set a path for others to follow." I can find no better example of this wisdom than Leia, even if she had known of the truth of her origins, and perhaps near the end, she suspected it. It was beyond her ability to change. It was beyond any of our abilities to change. So do not judge her based on what she became. Remember her instead, as I do. See in her great things that defines all mortals. Their innate ability to reach for heights unseen. To stand unyielding against an opposing force. To dream. Remember her as a worthy successor to all those whose sacrifices have brought us to this point in history. I relate this to you because in the coming days we would do well to find inspiration in Leia's story. Mortals have won many recent victories, but there is much to be done. I refer you to the prophecy of the end of days. And at the end of days, wisdom shall be lost, as justice falls upon the world of men. Valor shall turn to wrath, and all hope will be swallowed by despair. Death, at last, shall spread its wings over all, as fate lies shattered forever. Not all of these events have come to pass. I fear that hidden within these cryptic lines are clues to what lies in store for us. In order to better prepare you against this ominous future, the tomb you're now listening to compiles knowledge that will aid in protecting you from a range of dark threats. I elaborate on these subjects, from the betrayer Adria to the Black Soulstone and many more. In the chapters ahead, a great deal of the information contained herein was taken from Cain's writings and Leia's investigations into the end of days. Knowledge that remains vitally important to our cause. I do not claim these videos contain everything you need to know in the coming battles. This series is merely a continuation of the research begun by the first Horadrim, carried on by Deckard Cain and, most recently, Leia. Now, as mankind looks towards its future, this legacy falls to you. Know that more than ever before, the mortal world is in need of heroes. A time may come soon when you will be asked to make the ultimate sacrifice. If it does, find courage in the memory of Aldysian, Tal Rasha, Deckard Cain and Leia. Remember all they overcame, how they seized the brilliant potential that burns in every human heart. Above all, remember that no matter how much the future may spiral out of control, how dark the days may become, a single mortal has the power to change not only this world, but the realms beyond.